Hello, I'm Elle Edwards, the Mindset Geek from the Faith and Business Playground, and welcome back. Now, in today's episode, we are thinking about emotions, and we started talking in the Mindset Minute about those emotions, happiness and sadness. But we're also talking about all those other emotions in between as well. So, there are varying degrees of happiness, joy, delight, wonder. And then there are, at the other end of the spectrum, we have sadness, despair, gloom, all these different words that we use. And if you've already listened to or watched the Mindset Minute from today or yesterday, you will have heard me encouraging you to be open to the idea that they are actually, happiness and sadness are actually two sides of the same coin. I had to think what the words were then. Because I was reminded of this most acutely when I rewatched Inside Out. Now, it's a kids' film, I know, but it's one of my favourites, and I really love that film, if nothing else because it gave a really good way for parents and carers and whoever, grown-ups, to start talking about some of these mental health issues with our children and our young people. So it was really good for that. But there's also a really important message in there as well, because if you're, you might be familiar with the film, but if you haven't seen it in a while, just to remind you, Joy is this delightful character and she bounds around the place full of energy, and her sole purpose is to make, now what's the name of the child? I've completely forgotten. No, my mind has escaped me. Nope, not going to come back to me. Whatever the name of the child is. Brady? No, it doesn't matter. I can't remember. If you're listening to this and you're screaming the answer to yourself, okay, I apologise. It might come to me. If it does, I shall mention it. Anyway, Riley. There you go. Thank you, brain. Riley. I'm sure it's Riley. Joy's sole purpose in life is to make Riley happy. And she bounds around the place and gets herself into a bit of a pickle, and I'm not going to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it yet, because I really would love you to go and watch it. But she gets herself in a little bit of trouble. We're rushing around all the place. Anyway, at the end of the film, they discover, her and the other emotions who live inside Riley's brain, discover that actually life isn't all about joy. It's not all about happiness. And sometimes some of our most treasured moments are delightful, wonderful moments tinged with sadness. And it can be a mixture of both happiness and sadness. It can be a mixture of happiness and envy. Inside Riley's brain there was joy, happiness, envy, disgust and anger. Those were the little characters residing inside her brain. And so these core moments and the moments that made up the person that Riley was to become and the person that she was were not just one emotion. It was a mixture of things. So I was reminded of this. I'd seen the film before, but I watched it a few weeks ago and it reminded me, life really is a mixed bag. And even those lovely moments will have moments of other emotions in there as well. And what if we stop being scared of that? What if we stop being scared of those times when we're not feeling amazing? What if we instead embrace those moments and then use them to move forward? Because I don't know about you, but for me personally, it's kind of been the experience that those times when I've been frustrated, or those times when I've been concerned, or those times when I've been a little bit not stellar, those are some of the biggest growth moments. I mean, the fact that you are watching or listening to this on the faithandbusinessplayground.com rather than on gotoL.com is because of a moment of frustration. Some of you will have heard this story already, but I had a conversation with a very smarty pants clever friend on LinkedIn, a guy called Bob, and he's writing or written or about to publish a book about, I think it's 101 strategies, and it's a business book anyway, and part of his mission is to talk to 101 business owners, non-profits, to help them with strategy for their business. And he was offering this, and he's really quite smart. So I thought, well, actually, do you know what? I'd be an idiot not to talk to this guy. And so I came and I spoke to him, and as a result of that conversation, he asked me, well, what do you need in your business? What's the problem right now? And the long and the short of it was, look, I need to share this message with more people. And he asked me, do you know who your audience is? And I'll spare you the long version of that story, but the short version is I was not being specific enough. And thanks to that moment of frustration and thanks to that feeling of something's not quite right, it led to this realization that really what I would love to do is to share this brain gymnastics with people who aren't necessarily using it completely yet, And that faith part of it is really important to me. I am a person of faith. It won't surprise you by now. I am a person of faith, and I believe that God wrote the book on personal development. And as a result of a conversation that came from frustration, I've relaunched and reworked and much more focused and clear on my mission for this place. And it's bigger than Go to L. Go to L had my name in it. It felt, it was very narcissistic. The Faith and Business Playground is bigger than just me. And so that's why we're evolving and growing, all thanks to a moment or moments of frustration. And so actually, if we decided that no, we can't possibly have times where things aren't brilliant, it maybe cuts off that opportunity for growth and that opportunity to really move forward in a really powerful way. So I wanted to encourage you today, because if you are having some time where everything is not feeling amazing, first of all, that's okay. You are human. We are delightfully messy, flawed, multifaceted humans, and we are a mix of all of the emotions. We are not one thing all the time. You're not like a 2D caricature. You are a messy, delightful human. So if today, or if a moment in today is not stellar, welcome to the human race. So I just want to encourage you, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if every single moment of your day is not delightful. You'd have probably heard me say before, I personally believe that anybody who tells you they are happy all of the time is either lying to themselves or you, or they're on something. Nobody's happy all the time. That's not what my work is about. My work isn't about helping you to be happy all of the time. I'm certainly not happy all of the time. Instead, it's about feeling all of the feels and moving forward from there. And we're going to dig into more of this in the next Mindset Minute tomorrow. I was thinking for a moment then about the release schedule for these episodes and making sure I wasn't jumping ahead of myself. But yes, we are going to dig into this a little bit in the Mindset Minute tomorrow. This idea that you can feel the feels and then it's about moving forward. But more than anything today, really, I just wanted to encourage you that if you have times in your day when you are not feeling amazing, it's okay. I don't want you to run away with the idea just because I show up here all happy and oh, hee hee, yay, I'm there, woohoo. I get miserable sometimes too. I can be right grumpy boots. Thankfully, it doesn't last very long. Like my bounce back muscle is pretty strong these days because we all want to have the default to be joy and delight. Most people don't like living in misery land. I do know a few exceptions, and I probably imagine you maybe know a few exceptions as well. You know people who seem to thrive on that negativity. They love a big drama. My middle daughter, actually, in a controlled environment, she quite readily admits that she quite likes drama. And by controlled environment, I'm talking about like when she's playing computer games. She quite enjoys the drama. And the reason for that, incidentally, and this is probably a conversation for another time, but one of our human needs is the need for uncertainty. We need certainty. We also need doses of uncertainty. And that drama gives you a great big dose of uncertainty. But in the context of my daughter, it's uncertainty in a controlled, safe environment. But like I say, we'll talk about that again another time. But I just want to encourage you, if you're somebody who generally would love it if your default position was upbeat, content, joyful, happy, whichever word you want to use to describe it, you can be, And if you have moments in your days when you're not those things, that doesn't mean you're doomed to disaster for all time. It's okay. Life is a mixed bag. We can feel all of the emotions and still have our default position be content and happy and upbeat. And if you want help with that, as ever, I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't remind you. I have just moved everything over to faithandbusinessplayground.com, and I've got Bible-friendly resources, I guess is the right word for that. We'll be looking at actually how Jesus did write the book on personal development, how you can apply this stuff in a way that isn't going to damage your faith, because it's tempting, when you hear people talk about the universe and it gets all a bit woo-woo and a little bit sort of over there somewhere, we think, well, I don't know if I can apply this to me. That's what I'm here for, because lots of it, most of it, 99% of it, I would argue, yes, you can use it in your day-to-day life in a way that won't just not harm your faith, it will enrich and build and strengthen your faith. So if that sounds appealing to you, go to faithandbusinessplayground.com, get yourself signed up for the resources and the emails and the goodies and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, in the meantime, smile. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a delightful day. I look forward to catching up with you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.